Hello, beautiful humans. I'm late, like 40 minutes late. I'm supposed to have these lives on Thursday at 1 o'clock Pacific. But I have a horrible habit of procrastinating and waiting to the last minute, but then I want all my research to be super accurate, so I never give myself enough time for the research. So I got down what I wanted to talk about today, half done. So today what we're going to talk about is, I was going to talk about all my favorite Cosmedix masks and all the masks that I sell. But then I realized I wanted to break it up into two videos for a couple reasons. One of the reasons why I fell in love with Cosmedix so long ago is because of the fact they use so many actives. There's so many skincare lines that when they come out with a product, they'll rave and rave and rave about this one active ingredient in the product. That's not Cosmedix. Cosmedix uses at least 3 therapeutic actives in their skincare. So every skincare product that they make is going to have at least 3. When I say therapeutic actives, what I mean is the doses of the ingredient are in the product at therapeutic doses that they have research to prove that it works. So the thing about skincare, because it's an unregulated industry, is that you only have to have 1/10 of 1% of something in a product to make claims on it. That's why companies can get away with being like, oh my gosh, it's got this amazing, lavender, all these benefits of lavender. And what they do is they just sprinkle a tiny bit of lavender essential oil in sometimes, and then also put lavender fragrance in, because the fragrance is a lot cheaper. So when you smell it, you're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing, it's lavender. But technically they have like such a minute amount in the product that you're not getting any of the therapeutic benefits. So Cosmedix is very different in the fact that they use a lot of therapeutic actives in each formulation. And it's why I fell in love with them so long ago, is because the first thing for me was that they were plant-based. It was really hard because Cosmedix came out like in 1998. So in the late 90s, the early 2000s, it was very hard to find clean green skincare. It wasn't a thing yet. Cosmedix was clean and green way before it was cool. It's always been their standard, just like they've never done animal testing ever. It wasn't like they stopped doing it and now they promote it like they never did animal testing. Bumped my head. So it was not only those reasons, but I could geek out on Cosmedix. Like the whole reason I'm in skincare is because I'm an ingredient junkie. I became obsessed with skincare ingredients and how they interacted with the skin way before I ever became a licensed esthetician. And it was right out of aesthetic school that I discovered Cosmedix. And that's why I fell in love with it, is because they had so many therapeutic actives. I could geek out like a nerd on it. So when you go to research their products, it takes time. The other thing is, at the time, I don't know about now, but at the time, about 10 years ago, Cosmedix actually utilized and used more Nobel Prize winning technologies than any other skincare line out there. So it totally feeds the nerd in me. So what I decided to do today and talk about today, so I could, I'm going to talk about more about their exfoliating masks today. And the next time I do my live, we're going to talk more about like their hydrating / acneic detoxing masks. And the reason I chose to separate them, not just because I ran out of time, but I realized there's so much information to give. I didn't want it to be diluted down with giving so much information at once, okay? So the first mask that I'm going to talk about in the Cosmedix line, it is one of their original, one of the very first Cosmetic. Like when they launched the line, this was one of the products that was in it. And that's why I have a bare face today. So this is my completely clean face. I cleansed with Clarify cleanser because it's a great prepping cleanser before you do an enzymatic mask. And what I'm first going to talk about is Pure Enzyme. So this is the Pure Enzyme mask, and I'm actually going to put it on so you can see how it works as I'm doing the video. So here, this is the back bar size that I'm going to use. And this mask you can apply, I don't even know when this mask you can apply with your fingers or with a brush. It's totally your call. I'm going to use a brush today just because it'll be cleaner for application. But Pure Enzyme goes on very thin. Okay, so this is the color of it. It's such a beautiful, it's mainly, I mean, you can see the cranberries in it. And that's way more than I need. I don't know why I just did that. That's a lot. So first off, I'm going to go ahead and put this on because I really want to focus on what I'm saying. So with Pure Enzyme, you just want to have a clean face. If you have Purity Balance or any type of like exfoliating astringent / toner at home, anything that's like, I know there's a lot now on the market that are like a 2% BHA or salicylic acid. Anything that you can strip the skin with basically before you put this mask on is going to cause the mask to work better. And the reason why is because the more oils you remove from the skin before you put any type of active exfoliating acids on the skin. And the reason why I say active exfoliating acids is there's a lot of acids out there that don't exfoliate, like hyaluronic acid. They penetrate better. And the thing that's so amazing about this mask is it really, really pinks up the skin and is very, very stimulating. So notice how when I put this on, I put it all the way, like, Mama, don't mess around. I don't want it on my eyelid, but I get very close to the eye because that's where the fine lines and wrinkles are. I got to get the nose, get that upper lip. And because I grabbed so much mask, I'm going to do my whole neck. Okay. So we'll put that whole amount on, okay? And the thing about this mask is when it's done working, it just shuts off. So whether you want to put it on for 10 minutes and take it off, or you want to leave it on for 3 hours or take it off. I've even had clients where you can put it on and let it dry and then put your face oils or moisturizer on and just sleep in it. Like if you're like, oh, it's too much effort for me to have to take the damn thing off, then don't. Just sleep in it. Just make sure you hydrate, okay? So as you can see, it goes on really thin. All right, so this particular mask, I honestly, truly believe, and I have seen so many ingredient indexes on skincare products out there, and Pure Enzyme truly is one of the most amazing products ever made. It has a very simple, short ingredient list, and it's loaded, okay? So for starters, not only do they have, you know how I talked about how Cosmedix, it's always at least 3 actives, and there's definitely products that have more than that, like Simply Brilliant and Excel Plus have over 11. But Pure Enzyme has 5 therapeutic actives in this little formulation, okay? So the first one is L-lactic acid. As so many of you know, L-lactic acid is the... So when I talk today, this particular formulation has a lot of chiral ingredients. And that is the thing that separates Cosmedix apart from a lot of other skincare lines, is they do only use chiral ingredients. So basically, if you don't have a receptor site in your skin that it will fit into, they're not going to put it in the formulation at therapeutic levels because there's no receptor site. And if there's no receptor site, what's the body really supposed to do with it, okay? So that's the big thing. So that's why we use L-lactic acid. L is the left side of the lactic acid molecule. The right side of the molecule, known as the D side, it just has either negative side effects, it usually creates more irritation. And so what Cosmedix does is they purify the ingredients and they take the D part of the molecule, the right side of the molecule out, and they only keep the left side. And the left side is what fits into your receptor site, okay? So lactic acid is going to be an alpha hydroxy acid that's very exfoliating to the skin. It works similar to glycolic acid, and it's just great. So many over-the-counter masks have lactic acid in it. It's a great exfoliating mask. It's a great exfoliating alpha hydroxy acid, okay? Then it has cranberries in it, which cranberry enzyme, that's why it gets its color. And you can see there's a lot of cranberry enzyme. And if I remember correctly, it's literally like the very first ingredient. It's not water. It's not filler. The very, very first ingredient is this cranberry fruit puree, okay? And that has an enzyme just kind of like pumpkin or papaya or pineapple. And what the enzymes do is they act like a little Pac-Man, and they basically, see my eyelids are starting to stick as it dries. They act like little Pac-Men basically and dissolve and eat away all the dead skin cells that need a little help along the way. Those are the first 2 ingredients. Then we have L-glutathione, so the chiral version of glutathione. So glutathione is basically known as like a super antioxidant. Again, your body makes its own glutathione, which is why Cosmedix can use it, is because there's a receptor site in your skin for it already. The beauty of glutathione is it has an anti-melanogenic effect, which basically means it inhibits melanin production. Therefore, it is very brightening to the tissues. I know that there have been chemical peels that have been created. For example, the VI peel is a really popular peel in the medical industry. And the gentleman who created that peel, he made it for VI, and then he decided to break off and then start his own peel company, and that's where Perfect Derma Peel is. Perfect Derma Peel and VI Peel are formulated by the exact same physician, the exact same doctor, okay? So what he did with basically he took the formulation of VI Peel and he added glutathione to it. And I will say the Perfect Derma Peel definitely has more of a brightening effect. And as we're sitting here talking, I know you guys have noticed that my skin has gotten a little bit pinker than when I originally put it on. That is how stimulating this cranberry enzyme mask is. When I remove it, I'm going to be nice and pink. So glutathione is very brightening to the tissues. Your body makes its own. It also promotes intracellular redox balance, which I'm like, what the hell is that? I had to look that up. So intracellular redox balance basically means that it's when the body decides what cells are going to die and what cells are going to live. L-glutathione is one of the ingredients that your body makes that decision. Pure Enzyme also contains that. So it helps with that balancing of that intracellular redox balance. So then the next ingredient, which superoxide dismutase, was one of those ingredients that Cosmedix, it's a Nobel Prize winning technology. If I understand it correctly, I could be wrong. But it's one of the Nobel Prize winning ingredients, and Cosmedix actually uses superoxide dismutase a lot. Again, another ingredient that your body makes. It's an enzyme. So it's an enzyme, but I think it's also, no, it's not an antioxidant. It's an enzyme, and this is what it does. What it does is it breaks down the harmful oxygen, all the different harmful oxygen species in your body. So basically it prevents oxidization of your cells, and oxidization of the cells is what causes you to age. So there's been superoxide dismutase is such a important ingredient that there's so many studies that have been done on it in regards to cancer, inflammatory diseases, cystic fibrosis, aging, rheumatoid arthritis, neurodegenerative diseases, and diabetes. These are all the different ways that they've studied superoxide dismutase on the health in the body, and because it attacks reactionary oxygen, it prevents you from getting old. It's basically what it does. So that's also in the Pure Enzyme. And then last but not least, it has D-gluconic acid. So what D-gluconic acid is, it's of all the AHAs, of the alpha hydroxy acids, it's a much gentler form of it. So it's not a PHA, it is an AHA, but it's a very gentle exfoliating AHA, so it doesn't make you as sensitive. One of the other thing about this particular AHA, and it's D-gluconic means it's the right side of the molecule, is it promotes exfoliation and influences the keratinization process of the epidermis. So it helps with the keratinization of the creation of your epidermis. So all these little power punchers are in this one mask. Pure Enzyme retails for $52. When I had my World Kindness Day sale, I was actually surprised on how much of this stuff I sold. I know to have way more of it in stock next year. It's a very popular mask. It lasts a very long time. And what else was I going to say about it? I think that's about it. That's about it with Pure Enzyme. And the only thing, this is what I ask when I'm on here talking about all the different skincare products. If you haven't tried the product yet and you're going to try the product because I told you about it, my one request is that you please just buy it for me the first time. I know that you can go to the Cosmedix website and get it there, and they have great sales, and I totally can appreciate that. But the very first time you ever try it and want to get it for yourself, I just ask because you learned about it from me, if you could please purchase it from me the first time. Or if you have a local esthetician that you work with that also sells cosmetics, go buy it from them. Support your local esthetician. We all need the support. So that's Pure Enzyme. I do see that there's a question about what are my favorite cosmetics products, and I will come back to that. So that's the first one. Pure Enzyme, $52. A tube of it lasts you a long time. You should be using this at least, honestly, once to twice a week. If your skin can tolerate an enzymatic exfoliation twice a week, basically anybody over 30. Because this is a powerhouse. This is a powerhouse product. My mom, for a long time, called it like her at-home peel in a box or peel in a tube because of the fact that when you put it on, it has such a... the result that it gives you. The other day I had a question, saying you don't have to wear it very long. I felt a tingling stop, so I'm just going to take it off. You can see how nice and pink that I am from the mask. My favorite thing to do is actually put this on and then get in the bathtub and allow the steam from the bath to activate it. If you add steam to this, it absolutely will cause it to work deeper and harder. The other thing that I love to do with this mask is put it on other masks. So I'll put this on and let it dry, and then I'll put like a charcoal mask over the top. And I absolutely love that combination. That was a combination that was created by one of the educators at Cosmedix. So it's a powerhouse. Okay, so the next product that we're going to talk about is Awaken in the Elite line. And Awaken is one of my most favorite masks on the planet. Shoot, I'm just going to put it on. Why not? So the difference with Awaken is Awaken is also really loaded with stuff. And it is a higher price. It's in the Elite line. It is at a higher price point at $80. But this is going to explain to you why. And just so you guys know, the Pure Enzyme at 52 is 2 ounces. And the Awaken is 80 at 2.5 ounces, okay? So what Awaken? So Awaken very quickly became one of my most very favorite masks. It's also one of those masks that likes to be massaged in, so I don't apply this one with a brush. Again, this is a back bar size. But this is one of my most favorite masks to use on my clients. It's actually in every single one of my post-peel kits. Everyone gets this post-peel because of the fact that it completely helps rebalance and resets the microbiome. So when you do a chemical peel, one of the things that you do is you are disrupting the acid mantle layer, that microbiome layer of the skin. And Awaken Masks helps you rebalance that. I'm going to go into why in a minute. So with how you apply Awaken is you want to put it on and you do want to massage it around like this. So how I tend to use it is I massage it in. I'll wait 10 or 15 more minutes, and then I actually will put another layer on and massage it in. You can wear this mask for about a half an hour if you like, 10, 20 minutes even if you want. I've also been known to wake up on a Saturday, wash my face, and me put this on and stay home all day, and then I just will wash my face that night, okay? So the thing about Awaken is it has PHAs in it. So there's alpha hydroxy acids, there are beta hydroxy acids, and then there are polyhydroxy acids. And as you go up, the molecule gets bigger. So alpha hydroxy acids are a small molecule, and they sit on the surface of the skin and exfoliate it that way. Glycolic acid is a really popular alpha hydroxy acid. I personally am not a fan of it because there's no receptor site for it in your skin, and it's also why Cosmedix never uses it. But lactic acid is another one, mandelic, tartaric, malic. There's a lot of alpha hydroxy acids. And then you have beta hydroxy acids, which is only salicylic acid. It's the only one. And the difference between alpha hydroxy acids and beta hydroxy acids is alpha hydroxy acids sit on the surface, and the beta hydroxy acids actually drop into your pore. It's why salicylic acid is the best one to use for like blackheads and congestion, because it actually will drop down into the pore and push that gunk out. And then you have the polyhydroxy acids. And the polyhydroxy acids are a much larger molecule. So they don't really penetrate into the skin. They work more like on the surface, but you don't get the sensitivity or irritation issues. So what the first ingredient in Awaken at therapeutic levels is gluconolactone, which is a common polyhydroxy acid. Gluconolactone has been used for a long time in skincare, and it just recently got labeled as a PHA. It was always a PHA. It was always a polyhydroxy acid, but because no one in the skincare industry really knew what polyhydroxy acids were, it wasn't something that was really educated or talked about. They never said that about it. So I was kind of sorry. I was like, oh, I didn't realize that was a polyhydroxy acid. And what gluconolactone helps with is it helps with cellular turnover. Notice how the beginning of the word starts with glucose. So it actually is derived from sugar, and anything that has sugar in it is going to be a humectant. It's going to pull moisture into the skin, okay? So it's going to be very hydrating to the tissues. The other thing about it, which I didn't know this, and I'm sure my rep Alyssa told me this when this product came out, but of course I didn't retain it, because I was annoyed that the product was $80, and I'm slowly having to get over myself because the reason why these products are priced at what they are is because of some of these amazing flipping ingredients, okay? So it's got lingonberry extract, and lingonberry extract is a patented ingredient. This particular extract is a patented ingredient, and it protects the skin from premature aging caused by the high energy blue light. So, the high energy visible blue light. So if people are wondering like, hey, what are the Cosmedix products that I can use on my skin that's going to help prevent and protect against blue light, all that kind of stuff, it's Awaken. And the lingonberry extract is pretty high on the ingredient list, so it's got a nice heavy punch of it in the formulation. So it's going to help with the blue light. And then it also has Chlorella vulgaris and Liminaria digitata, which is super fun to say, I might say. These are both prebiotics. So yes, the Chlorella vulgaris is actually it's an algae, but they're also prebiotics. So that is what's in the formulation that helps with the microbiome. The other thing that's really lovely about this mask is anything that has PHAs in it, it's going to be exfoliating to your tissues, but it's not going to create any tingle or irritation whatsoever. So this is a absolute beautiful mask for people who have compromised barriers or are hypersensitive, because not only do you have the ingredients in there that help rebuild the microbiome of your skin, the prebiotics, but then also you have the polyhydroxy acids that aren't going to irritate you. And then last but not least, it's got the marine algae complex. And the marine algae complex that's in the formulation is loaded with amino acids. So I know so many of you hear about peptides being in skin. Well, what peptides are is a lab-derived synthetic amino acid. That's all they are. They're an amino acid. They're a lab. So if something says amino acid, it came from nature. If something says peptides, it is a lab-derived ingredient that they copied from an amino acid. They're the same thing, okay? So the beauty of this formulation, if people are really truly only wanting natural organic skincare, this is the way to go. So peptides are in all kinds of natural and organic skincare because it's acknowledged that they function beautifully in the skin. They've given us good results, and it's not a negative thing. It's not a side effect. There's no side effects that they're aware of with the peptides because they're an amino acid. But if you have somebody who's a real purist that only wants to use very natural, clean, organic, Awaken's it. It's a rarity that you actually see amino acids added into skincare these days over peptides, because peptides are more controlled and regulated and more stabilized. So that's why I think it's really unique that they chose to go with like the marine extract, which is also extremely remineralizing to the tissues. So again, that's one of the reasons why I love it post chemical peel or any type of med spa procedure, actually any type of lasers, CO2s, IP, like anything that you get done to beautify yourself at the med spa, you need to use Awaken as part of your post care. And what I do is I always include enough for people to do 1 or 2 Awakens post peel, depending on what peel they had done. But ideally, I try to get clients to purchase it because I'd like to see you use it actually 3 to 5 nights in a row, depending on what peel you did. Like if you were doing CO2, like any of the laser treatments, I would want to use Awaken a couple days post recovery every single day for like 5 nights in a row. The other thing that marine algae complex does is protects against transepidermal water loss. So I'm going to talk about transepidermal water loss a little bit, because as I go into talk about the last mask I'm going to talk about, this comes up again as well. So, and in this live, I'm talking about 3 masks total, and the reason why I chose these 3 is these are all the exfoliating masks that I sell. It's starting to stick. So see how that Awaken has like dried and it's a little tacky on the skin, but it's flexible. I don't feel dry. I don't feel dehydrated. This is why you can kind of wear it all day and have no issue with it. But like I was telling you earlier, I like to put it on, let it dry a little bit and put more on. So I'm going to put some more on. And as you can see, like you can, I have a mask on my foot because it fell and pumped. How exciting for me. Okay, so this is what the product looks like. It is a runnier mask as well. So I tell people when you get it in the tube, you want to be a little careful with it, because if you squeeze too hard, it will go out pretty fast. But you can see the plant. That's what I love about Cosmedix, right? You can see that there's marine algae in there. You can see that there is chlorella in there. So I'm just going to take it. And I love the smell of this. So that's another thing. Cosmedix doesn't put anything in the products to make them smell good. So the reason why this smells the way it does, it actually is quite fragrant. Not in a bad way, but this is just what the ingredients smell like, and it's lovely. There is one product that they intentionally put scent in, and that was the Shineless Moisturizer. And it was because Shineless on its own, because of the ingredient index, some people just felt like it was unpleasant. And they didn't want, people not to use it because of the smell. So they added a little bit of... I think it's a green tea scent that they put into it. They put green tea scent in it because, one, it has green tea in it. So it made sense to add the green tea scent. And two, they wanted people to use it. So they had to improve it. Like they had to improve the scent to get it to sell better. And it did. People are loving it now. But besides that product, Cosmedix doesn't put anything in the products to make them look good or smell good. They just are what they are. Okay, so back to transepidermal water loss. So what transepidermal water loss is, it's the amount of water that passes through, let me say this exactly. It's the amount of water that passively evaporates through the skin into the external environment. So as you get older, your skin has a harder time holding on to water. And the reason why this is an issue is because oils are what, if you feel dehydrated, it's because you need water. Lack of water is dehydration. If you feel like you don't have enough suppleness in your skin, if the skin looks dry, if it feels tight, that can be both ways. That's more of a lipid issue with the oils. But if your skin is looking dehydrated, like one of the ways you can always tell if skin's dehydrated, and this is one of the tricks I did for years I did with clients, I still do, is what you want to do is you want to take your finger, and I actually learned this from an old, way back in the day, an old Cosmedix rep. Her name was Terry. So you take your finger and you just lift up the skin right here along the jowl, okay? And when you lift that up, if you can see like your skin tissue lines, if you can see lines going this way in your skin's dehydrated. You need more hydration. That's when you need to add hyaluronic acid, things like that, things that are going to work as a humectant to pull hydration into the tissues. You want trehalose, things like that. If you do this and you don't see those lines, your skin's not dehydrated. And that's one of the things that we always look at when we go to apply chemical peels, because if your skin is dehydrated when you put on a chemical peel, you're going to get the peel dropping in at uneven levels, which can cause uneven peeling of the skin. I'm not quite sure why that is a huge issue, but apparently it is. So as you get older, you're not able to, your skin I'm sure you've heard this a lot in skincare, like transepidermal water loss, TEWL. Well, that's what it is. As you age, your body's not able to hold on to its water content like it used to. So that is one of the things that this marine algae complex does, is it protects against that transepidermal water loss. It helps keep the skin in whatever happy state that it needs to be in, so it doesn't evaporate as much water out of the tissues, okay? So now we're going to move on to glow. And of the 3 masks I'm talking about today, I'd say Pure Enzyme kind of just does one thing. Pure Enzyme is an enzymatic mask, tried and true. She rocks, okay? But when it comes to the Awaken mask that I just got done talking about, and now the glow mask, where's my glow mask? Where'd I put it? They both kind of like are multifunctioning masks. So I would say Awaken is multifunctioning because not only does it reset your microbiome and is really hydrating and remineralizing, but it also has the polyhydroxy acids that help with the exfoliating factor. Like it's a multifaceted mask. And that's the same with glow. Where the heck did she go? I grabbed, oh my gosh, she's right in front of my face. Okay, so I feel the same way about glow, okay? And the reason why is because this mask has ingredients in it that help brighten they have a whole bunch of stuff in it we're going to talk about, but it also has physical scrubbies in it. So you kind of get a 2 for 1. Like I personally would never do Pure Enzyme and then do glow over the top. Like you're already like, had your face enzymed off and then you go behind it with like scrubbies, it may be a little too irritating to the skin. So I constantly do 2 masks in a row. One of my most favorite things to do when I do face masks, I usually do 2. I start with an exfoliating one and then I follow it by like a detoxing one or a detoxing or a hydrating one. And I kind of put hydrating, anti-aging kind of all in the same categories, okay? So, but with glow is one of those masks that you kind of get the exfoliating step and all the other benefits in one. So what I'll do is I'll wash my face and I will put this on my skin, okay? I'm going to show you how it is on my hand. So you put it on, it's just this white color. And when I first put it on, how I apply it is I just do I don't notice how I'm not really scrubbing very hard. Like I'm just kind of spreading the mask around. I don't want to start scrubbing yet, okay? So I'm going to put this mask on and I'll show you what it does. So we're going to put it on and I want all the skin to like really start, my skin's going to drink this in, okay? And the scrubbies kind of have 2 purposes. One, they help, they're exfoliator, they're going to help scrub away the skin. But then 2, it also in there is a delivery system to get the other actives in this formulation deeper into your tissues. So the very first ingredient, the one that has the most therapeutic levels in it, is the bamboo stem extract, which, as you know, in Asian and Korean beauty, bamboo is huge. Bamboo is so good for your skin. It's a very powerful antioxidant, and it makes the skin more supple and has a brightening effect. So that's what bamboo does. It brightens your skin, it makes it more supple and youthful, and it's going to give you major antioxidant protection, okay? So that's the first active in it. Then it has niacinamide, which is also known as B3. And the niacinamide, it's the beauty. So niacinamide on its own is already a powerhouse ingredient. And I know a lot of you already know this because if you just Google niacinamide serum, I can't tell you how many serums pop up that all they do is just have that one ingredient. Oh, niacinamide, oh, niacinamide, oh, niacinamide. I would never personally just make or use a niacinamide serum. It is in so many formulations as an ingredient in multiple formulations. I just wouldn't spend my money on that one ingredient. I would want to get a formulation that already had that in it as an ingredient, if I'm making sense. So like for instance, Simply Brilliant has 5% niacinamide in it. So does XL Plus. So it's completely unnecessary to then buy also another niacinamide product because you're already basically getting it in the Simply Brilliant. And you do want to use and can use niacinamide twice a day, AM and PM. And I think that 5% is a really good level. Most of the studies are done between like 1% and 10%, 1% and 5%. 10% is really high. I wouldn't put anybody on a 10% niacinamide. You already can start having niacin side effects with the niacinamide at 5%. You get what is known as that like niacin flush where your skin pinks up. That already can happen at 5%. So I just feel that 10% is really unnecessary. But one of the niacinamide does a whole bunch of things, which is why it's become so trending in skincare. So it first is a tyrosinase inhibitor. It's going to prevent pigment from forming and fading pigment that's already there. So one, that's huge, okay? Two, the thing with niacinamide is it actually helps regulate your sebum production. So if you're making too much oil, it'll tell your skin to knock that crap off. And if you're not making enough oil, it's going to tell your skin that she needs to step it up a notch. So niacinamide will regulate your sebum production in both directions. So it's really important if you have acneic skin to have niacinamide in your routine. The other thing that they've done studies on, which I think is really fascinating, is so many people get prescribed topical clindamycin when they have acne. It's one of the first steps when you go to the dermatologist that they'll give you clindamycin, which is the topical product that they tend to give you. But they have had studies show that a 1% clindamycin compared to a 3%, it may be 5, but I'm pretty sure it was a 3% niacinamide, had the exact same therapeutic benefits. The bonus is that with the niacinamide, it's not a stinking antibiotic, so it's not going to screw up your microbiome and give you other skincare issues. So when people come to me with acneic skin and acne, I always try to get them to go the niacinamide route and get off their clindamycin if they're already using a clindamycin, because the studies it's equal. There's no one's better than the other. Like they're actually equal in what they do in regards to help healing the acne. The other thing that niacinamide does is it minimizes the appearance of the larger pores and it gets rid of that orange peel look. So you know how so many of us can get, it tends to happen here the most, but I've seen it other places on the skin, but you get that orange peel skin effect. Niacinamide actually helps improve that. And then it has tetrahexadecylascorbate, which I know so many of you know how much I love that ingredient. It's the active in my Brilliant C and E at 7%. It's the active in Cosmedix new Brilliant C. I know they're similar. It was not intentional. Cosmedix has a new product out called Brilliant C, and the C is capitalized in Brilliant C. It's in their formulation, I think, at 4%. But what tetrahexadecylascorbate is, it's one of my new favorite ingredients. Okay, so you have ascorbic acid, and studies have shown till this day L-ascorbic acid is the one ingredient that's what your skin has to convert into. So I notice how I said L-ascorbic acid, it's the left side of the molecule. The right side of ascorbic acid actually sits on the skin. It doesn't fit into receptor sites and it can create irritation, okay? So they've purified the molecule. They just keep the L, and that's the one that you see, like anytime you see ascorbic acid in skincare, even if it doesn't have the L in front of it, it most likely is still L-ascorbic acid, because when you go to purchase ascorbic acid for skincare, that's pretty much the only one you can find. Like, because they know that the right side of the molecule can cause irritation, and it's the superior ingredient. It's pretty standard. And for years and years and years, that was the gold standard. The problem with all the other forms of vitamin A, when I did my research on them, is that there wasn't a single study that I could find that proved that the other forms of vitamin A could convert into L-ascorbic acid into the skin. So we know that retinol eventually converts into retinoic acid. We know that retinoaldehyde eventually converts into retinoic acid. We have studies that show that like that ingredient does convert and then fits into the receptor site, okay? But all the forms of vitamin C that are out there, none of them have been able to prove if they do convert, and if they do convert, then at what percentage? So let's say you're using a lipid form of vitamin C, and they're like, oh, this is a 10% vitamin C formulation. Okay, great. So you put it on the skin, they don't know if it's converting, and if it does convert, what happens if it only converts over to 2%? Into L-ascorbic acid into your skin, and then we're not at therapeutic levels at all, okay? And your skin can absorb up to 35% L-ascorbic acid before it's like done. And when your skin absorbs vitamin C, it's instant. It doesn't have to sit on the skin for a while like retinol does. Like vitamin C is instantaneous. So what they found with this new tetrahexadecylascorate is that not only does it fit into the exact same receptor site of L-ascorbic acid without having to be converted, it actually is better at stimulating collagen production. So what tetrahexadecylascorate is, it is L-ascorbic acid with, I want to say there's a molecule attached to it. It's a gas, they like introduce it to a gas, and this is what creates this ingredient, okay? And yeah, that's the biggest thing about it, is it not only functions just like L-ascorbic acid and gives you all the L-ascorbic acid benefits in your skin, which L-ascorbic acid is vitamin C, but it actually has been proven to show that it stimulates collagen production more than L-ascorbic acid. So I really need everyone to hear that information, because if you're using a vitamin C product, it needs to be, if you're only using one, it needs to be tetrahexadecylascorbate. You need to have tetrahexadecylascorbate in your skincare routine, okay? Vitamin C is truly one of the most, there's only two things that you can put on your skin that make changes in the cellular level. There's actually three, okay? The third one being growth factors. Like growth factors will cause your skin to function younger, and they do make cellular changes. But the two ingredients that make cellular changes, and the reason why I'm saying cellular changes is not only can they drop down into your dermis, but they actually will they can enter the cell, okay? They can go into the cell. And that's vitamin A, retinol, and vitamin C. L-ascorbic acid and tetrahexadecylascorbate, okay? These are the two ingredients that when you put them on your skin, they are going to make your skin function younger, and they're going to make improvements. So vitamin A is what forces your skin to have cellular turnover faster. It basically makes your skin act like it's 28 for the rest of its life, hopefully. And then what vitamin C does, and both of these are antioxidants. What vitamin C does is vitamin C, it does so many things. First of all, it reverses sun damage in your tissues before they come up to the surface of the skin. So the reason why you can have great looking skin in your 20s and great looking skin in your 30 to 35, hopefully maybe 40, and then all of a sudden you get into your later 30s to your 40s and all these damn brown spots start popping out and you're like, what the heck, what is going on? It's because it takes 10 to 20 years for the sun damage that you created in your tissues to actually show up on the surface of your face. So when you look in the mirror and you're seeing spots at 42 and 43, that's the sun damage that you created in your late teens, early 20s, those tanning beds for the people from my generation. That's what's now coming out. So the beauty of vitamin C is it's one of those ingredients that, unlike retinoids, that you can actually visibly notice changes in your skin when you start using it. Like as soon as you start using it, you're like, oh my God, where has this ingredient been my whole life? Vitamin C, however, you just have to trust it. You're not going to see changes in your skin. You will, and some people do see a brightening effect in the tissues. The skin gets brighter and, maybe a little bit of perkiness, but you just have to trust that it's doing what it does. It's not really a product that you're going to see major changes in the skin. It reverses sun damage. It helps the skin debris itself of mutated DNA. Vitamin C is crucial in the formation of capillaries or capillaries, if anybody was educated by Dermalogica. It strengthens capillary and vein walls. So when people ask like, hey, what can I do to prevent, or help the broken capillaries on my face? So first off, those bitches are not broken. They are alive and well. There's nothing broken about the broken capillaries. What they're known as in the medical industry is called telangiectasias. And what they are is basically, you know how you get like spider veins behind your knees and things like that? Okay, well, telangiectasias are basically spider capillaries. It's sending up, basically the vein wall or the capillary wall has gotten weak. And so it starts actually sending up these little like spider veins to help feed the surrounding tissues, okay? Vitamin C strengthens the walls of your capillaries and your veins. So by putting vitamin C on the face, it actually will prevent those telangiectasias from happening. It won't make them better once you have them. It won't make them go away, but it will prevent ones from happening in the future. And that's just some of the things, okay? So that is why tetrahexadecylate sorbate is so important to have in your routine. And it's one of the actives in Glow. The other thing that I forgot to say about niacinamide, and it's back to that whole transepidermal water loss, that's what niacinamide also does. It helps with the transepidermal water loss situation. Okay, so now you can see the Glow mask and you can see how it's absorbed into my skin some. Now this is when I go in and start scrubbing. And so I put this mask on my face for 10 minutes. I let it sit and soak in. And then what I do is I go in like this and scrub it around, and then I let it sit for another 10 minutes. The reason why I wait on the scrubbing is because when you do double scrubbing, it can get a little too intense. And I have found that if you put it on the skin and allow the ingredients to absorb in some, and then you go behind it and scrub it, you actually get a much stronger scrubby action because there's not as much of the liquid on the skin because the skin's drank it. So it leaves more of the scrubbies and it allows for a much better not chunky, but it just for a better polish, basically, I would say. So yeah, 10 minutes, scrub it in, let it sit for another 10 or 20 minutes. And then I do tend to rinse this off in the bathtub. I don't like chasing scrubbies around my face. That's the other reason why I tend to do this mask a lot in the tub is I don't like using scrubbies and then having to obsessively rinse your face over the sink trying to get all those darn scrubbies off the face. It's also why in the treatment room, I never do physical exfoliants. I cannot stand when I go to do your facial massage because I'm also a massage therapist. When I go do your facial massage and then I hit into the little scrubbies that not all of them got off, drives me insane. It may not bother the client, but it drives me nuts. So I like scrubbies, either use them and then hop in the shower, or I tend to use them in the bathtub. Hey, Griselda, how are you? Okay, so does anybody have any questions? I know that there was a lovely follower that asked, can you please save this live? So all my lives are always saved. I don't ever delete them. They're always saved. The only time I hadn't saved lives is before I learned that I had to put my phone on Do Not Disturb. If a phone call came through or something, then the volume would cut out. So those lives I've had to get rid of, but now I know what to do to prevent that. I know another person asked about what my favorite Cosmedix products are, and she may or may not be with us anymore, Shanza. But it's really hard to pick my favorite Cosmedix products because there are so many. There really are so many. I don't sit on here and tell you guys to buy the products that I sell because I want to make money. I like when I first started my channel here, I talked about Cosmedix constantly and then never told you guys I sold it because I didn't want you to think that the only reason I was talking about those products is because I was trying to make money. I wanted you to know that I genuinely believed that these products are the shit. And then COVID happened and my skincare rep was like, girlfriend, you're being a fool. Start selling the product. And honestly, it was the best decision I've ever made because it has definitely helped support me and help me launch Prakash Organics into a bigger brand. I've been able to supplement my income with selling of the Cosmedix, and I need it for my skincare consults. Like, this is my tool. I know how to make this product work for me. I've used it for 12 years. It's my tool. So of the Cosmedix products that are my absolute favorite, if I had to pick one, when I'm forced to pick one, it's Mystic every time. And the reason why is Mystic is like pure enzyme. It is a powerhouse product. It's got trehalose in it, which is like sodium hyaluronate on steroids. It's got sodium hyaluronate, which is the skincare version of hyaluronic acid that you need. It's got, like, it just has everything. I love it. It's a mister. I can't even talk about it without using it. Okay, so Mystic is actually in the hydration category. They call it a hydrator because there's D2O in it. And D2O is heavy water. So it basically sits on the surface of the skin. It's exceptional for people who deal with dehydration. The other thing about D2O is it's antimicrobial and anti-radial. So if you fly a lot, like, girlfriend, you need this. It not only kills viruses and bacterias, but then it also protects against radiation in the airplane and things like that. I keep this in my purse. Throughout the summer, it's very common to see me like spray this on my face. Like if I'm out and about and I feel like my sunscreen might be wearing off and I don't have any in my purse to reapply, this is what I whip out because at least I can get some radiation protection from it. It's not classified as an SPF, but it helps a little, okay? So that'd be my very first one. Purity Clean, if you know how to use it, is honestly one of the best cleansers on the market. I used it religiously, AM and PM, for about 8 years. For the longest time, Cosmedix only had 2 cleansers, Purity Clean and Benefit Clean. And Purity Clean, like I had 14-year-old clients on it and I have 75-year-old clients on it. It's the only exfoliating cleanser that I've experienced that truly has therapeutic levels of exfoliators without drying your skin out. It is not over stripping. It is not over drying. It's a phenomenal cleanser if you've not tried it. I really do feel, and Alyssa and I have talked about this multiple times. Alyssa's my rep. Cosmedix has some of the best cleansers in the industry. They really, really do. They're one of the few companies that actually puts therapeutic levels of ingredients in their cleansers. And again, they don't just put like one ingredient in there and then like, oh my God, it's all the rage. No, they put like multiple of them in there. I think like Purity Clean on its own has 5% L-lactic acid in it. So Purity Clean would absolutely be one. Simply Brilliant and Excel Plus, I'd have to say Excel Plus is my favorite, but Simply Brilliant and Excel Plus are actually the exact same formulation. The only difference is Excel Plus has some retinoids in it, not at a therapeutic level, but they're in there to help with the delivery system. So anything that you put retinoids in with or top with retinoids forces ingredients to be driven deeper into the body. So Simply Brilliant is like the AM product. You can also use it in the PM, but it can be used in the AM, which is unique for a lightener and brightener. Most lighteners and brighteners cannot be used in the AM. Simply Brilliant was specifically formulated so it can be a 24/7 lightener and brightener. It's also the one that has that 5% niacinamide, okay? It's the one that has like 11 actives in it, which is huge. So Excel Plus is the same thing with a little bit of retinol in it, so it works a little bit better. You only want to use it at nighttime. You can't use it during the day, so that'd be one of my favorites. And then there are retinoids. It's hard for me to choose one because of the fact that with different skincare types, it's not like Cosmedix makes 6 retinoids, but I feel like they have the most intelligent retinoids. They're the only company that actually makes 2 different delivery systems. They have a protein delivery system and a lipid delivery system. What other skincare lines do when they want to create a more hydrating retinol or retinoid product is they take the exact same formulation that they made and then they just add hydrators to it. That's it. Cosmedix didn't do that. They first have their protein delivery system where the retinoid it's retinol in the AGP complex. It's in a cage. It's encapsulated basically. And then they later came out with the LG Retinex, which is a combination of retinol and retinoaldehyde. Studies have shown the combination of those two actually work better in the skin than retinoic acid. And they're encapsulated in a lipid delivery system. And the beauty of that is you can get up into high percentages, like the 1%, which is what is in Serum 24. Most 1% retinoids will fry your face off. Like Refine will fry your face off at the 1%. Which is Refine Plus, but because it's in a lipid delivery system, there's a gentleness to it. So it allows you to get higher strengths without the sensitivity. So and Pure Enzyme is one of my favorites. Purity Detox Scrub is phenomenal if you deal with blackheads or congestion. I commonly talk about how you really shouldn't use mechanical exfoliants on the face for more than once a week because mechanical exfoliations can also cause those telangiectasias that I talked to you about. Like one of the things that estheticians are so familiar with is we can always tell when someone's using apricot scrub. Because when you go to use scrubs, what's the first place you go? You literally go right here. And you'll zoom, 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 and you'll start seeing all these tiny little telangiectasias caused by mechanical. They're caused by mechanical telangiectasias. You'll also see it a lot in people who work outside. Like my brother's a landscaper, and you can tell that he wears sunglasses, and it's really common for him to get dirt underneath his lens and him then go like this because where the dirt lands and the sunglasses hit is exactly where he has his line of telangiectasias on his cheeks. Okay. So Purity Detox Scrub, what I tell people with that is that's exfoliant that is a powder that you add water to, which in itself is really cool. It lasts forever. It has powdered salicylic acid in it. So that is where you get the amazing, it's so good at blackheads. It also has poppy seeds, jojoba beads, and cornmeal is the exfoliation on it. So what I tell people is do the whole face only once a week, but I commonly, especially like I tend to get buildup down in here and on my nose and here, okay? So I will up to 3 times a week, will make the paste and I'll just scrub right here. I don't touch this, I don't touch this, I'll just go in here. I cannot tell you how amazing that product is at addressing blackheads. And I have larger pores. I've got Portuguese bloodline, so I've got some larger pores, and I'm one of those people that no matter what I do, I can't keep my nose clean, whether I'm using shitty products, and when I say that, I mean like petroleum and silicone stuff, or whether I'm using the hippy dippy stuff, it doesn't matter. I've always had, like, I have to clean my nose out once a week, once every other week. It gets built up. And the Purity Detox Scrub makes a huge difference. So we got Sophie on here that she's also raves about the Purity Clean. It truly is mwah. If you would like the instructions on how I think you should use Purity Clean, because that's the thing with Cosmedix, because it's been around for a long time, the people in charge of like the education and how products are used has changed, and everybody comes in with their own like experience and knowledge and thoughts. So I bet a lot of you, if you've used Purity Clean, you get your face, like you treat it like a foaming cleanser, right? Like you get your face wet, your hands wet, you put the cleanser in. No, Purity Clean sucks when you use it like that. You want hardly any water. That is the key to Purity Clean. You want enough water where you can move it around, but it's like a 2-in-1 product. You want to let it sit on the skin for a moment, just like you would an enzymatic mask. So if you want to email me at love@prakashog.com, I'm happy to email you my Purity Clean instructions. All right. Does anybody else have any questions before I let you all go? Thank you so much for your time today. All right, I think also I love the Purity Balance. Purity Balance is also another phenomenal product. I'd actually probably put that on my list of my favorites. It's a product that you want in your toolbox. I never not want to have Purity Balance in my house. I use it in so many different ways. I use it to strip the skin before I do chemical peels. I will use it like before I use the pure enzyme. If I really want the enzymes to go in, I'll strip the skin with that. If I'm feeling kind of congestion, my skin needs a little pick-me-up, I use it then. I only use it like 2 or 3 times a week in the evening for my skin type. But like if you have teenagers that get the like if a teenager comes to me and they have acne, the very first product I'm selling them is Purity Balance. It's amazing at that mechanical acne on the forehead from hats. I've even had mamas spray the kids' hats with the Purity Balance. Made a huge difference in their breakout. It's got 1% what does it have in it? It's like 1% L-lactic acid and either 0.5% or 1% salicylic acid. And Mama's strong. Like when I do chemical peels, I multiple times have had clients be like, is this the peel? And I'm like, actually, no, this is not the peel. I find that Purity Balance works best though. I don't like using the round cotton pads. Those are nice if you tend to be more aggressive because they're gentle. But I actually like the 2x2 rough gauzes, like the style that you get from the dentist. I like to use those to use Purity Balance. They're much more aggressive. They feel more like those peel pads that you'll spend like way too much money on that we buy in like the little peel pad things. I swear Purity Balance works better. And it helps if you have little like white pustules on the skin, it helps break those open so that the medicine can get in and heal them. And yes, Sophie is saying the same thing. She uses the Purity Balance 3 times a week. She's strong. Most people should not be using Purity. If you don't have acne, and I don't mean acneic skin where you deal with a blemish here and there, but like acne where you have stage 1 acne or stage 2 acne, you should not be using Purity Balance twice a day at all. So Shanza's asking, does the Purity Detox Scrub get rid of blackheads on the nose? That's what it's amazing for, girlfriend. If you're a girl, boyfriend, that's what it's amazing at. Is as soon as somebody during my skin consults is like, I really deal with the blackheads on my nose. And then I'm like, Purity Balance. Don't do it on your whole face. It's not Purity Balance. Purity Detox Scrub. Purity Balance is great too, but Purity Detox Scrub is chef's kiss when it comes getting rid and preventing the blackheads on your nose. I can always tell when I'm being lazy in the shower and not using my Purity Detox Scrub because they start building up faster. And then as soon as I start doing it just in those areas 2 to 3 times a week, huge improvement. So this question is, Is there anything that you recommend for dark circles under eye bags? Okay, so there is. I'm sorry to say it's $150, but I promise you it'll be the happiest $150 you ever spend. And the reason why I'm going to talk about the expensive eye cream, because Cosmedix makes 3 and I make 1. My stuff is amazing too. Mine's the most cost effective. My eye care, I actually love wearing it all over my face, and it really will help with dark circles and with not dark circles. It'll really help with puffiness and plumping up the tissues and creating more tone and firming around the eye. But you specifically asked about dark circles and under eye bags. So this will definitely help with the under eye bags because of the caffeine content. But this will do it all, okay? So what this product is it's called Eye Complex, and it's the new eye cream that Cosmedix came out with in the Elite line. I will give her this. She's more money, but she's also the largest eye cream that Cosmedix makes, okay? So the other eye creams are 0.25 ounces, and this is 0.34. So if you break it down that way, the price is not quite as scary, okay? So this eye cream does everything. Like until now, I've never known of an eye cream that did everything. You either had to choose, dark circles are really hard to address. Puffiness is easier. Like you would get an eye cream that did puffiness and fine lines, but it wouldn't do dark circles. Or you'd get an eye cream that did dark circles and fine lines, but it didn't do puffiness. And I feel like majority, like 90% of eye creams on the market overpromise and underdeliver. They never work as good as they like to try to say they act, okay? They just don't. Eye creams are kind of one of my pet peeves. It annoys the crap out of me how expensive they are for the amount of product you get, and then they just don't seem to work for how expensive they are. This one does. Okay, so I'm going to go through everything that's in this, girlfriend. That was amazing. Okay, so the first thing, it has a very high caffeine content, so that's automatically going to help with the puffiness, okay? Then it also has hyaluronic acid in it, so it's going to help with the hydration around the eyes, but not through lipid application, but through water application. Remember when we talked about the water is dehydration? Then it also has 1%, not 0.25, not 0.5, but 1% of the bakuchiol complex. And bakuchiol complex is a new ingredient that has hit the market. I know a lot of you have probably heard about this ingredient. They used to say it's a PHA. It is not a PHA anymore. They realized they were wrong. What they have found as they've studied it is it's like the tetrahexadecyl ascorbate and L-ascorbic acid. It's like retinol, like percentage. It fits immediately into the retinoic acid receptor site without having to convert. They don't know why. It just fits. Doesn't have any of the side effects that retinol has. It can, but it's much harder. Like it's much hard. Like if you've never used any retinols on your skin at all, and you just start using this 1% bakuchiol complex around your eye every day, you could possibly get what's known as like a retinoid rash. So if you're new to it and you're trying it, I'd say start using it like every third night for a week or two, every other night for a week or two, work into it slowly. But if you use retinols, you're not going to have any issue with this at 1%. The beauty of that is that it's going to really help with dark circles. So there's 2 types of dark circles. There's the ones that are more underneath, and the underneath ones are caused by basically your lymph fluid pools in here. It gets stagnant. And as you know, lymph is how your body gets rid of all the toxins. So what happens is it pools down here in the toxins, okay? That's why doing like light massaging can help with those type of dark circles. Then there's the dark circles that are caused more with due to melanin, where the skin itself is more pigmented around the eye area. That's what this is amazing for, okay? It definitely helps with the dark circles underneath as well, but this also is going to help with that pigment that's in the skin around your eyes. So it helps with that. And then it also has, so it's got the bakuchiol. Okay, so then the other thing it's got a peptide in it that it's patented peptide with, so again, amino acid, that has lots of research around it that functions like, it's known as the Botox in a bottle. So I have seen so many eye creams out there that have touted like, oh, it's the Botox in the bottle eye cream, and it's also $150, $200, but that's the only active in it. This has like 4 or 5 other actives in it. So the Botox in a bottle, how it works is, no, it's not penetrating into your muscle. Like, we're going to keep shit real here. But what it does is I wrote this down. I just did it live on this a while ago. It's called acetyl hexapeptide 8. And it is the peptide version of argireline, I think is how you say it. And it's marketed as Botox in the bottle. What it does is it interrupts messages from the brain, thereby preventing muscle contractions in the muscle tissue. So when I use this eye cream, not only do I put it around the eyes, but then I also really hit my glabellas with it. Because, hey, if that's what it's saying and doing, we're going to trust it. And that's also at a therapeutic level. It also has grapeseed extract in it. And then the last thing that it has in it, which is a huge big deal, is it's got horse chestnut. So horse chestnut is something that you really want to start paying attention to in your skincare. It inhibits the enzyme hyaluronidase. So as a lot of you know, like when you get filler done, and the filler didn't turn out the way you wanted it to, they have to put the enzyme in hyaluronidase because it will dissolve that filler, okay? Your body naturally makes hyaluronidase, okay? And horse chestnut actually blocks, is that what it says? It inhibits the enzyme from being made in your body. So it prevents your body from self-destructing its own hyaluronic acid. So that alone is huge. By doing that, it's going to increase skin hydration. It also soothes varicose veins. It's anti-inflammatory. It's anti-edema, so it's going to also help with the puffiness. And how it's anti-edema is because it strengthens vein walls, and that's why you get puffiness sometimes under the eyes. The edema under the eyes is because the veins and capillaries have actually leaked out fluid, so it helps prevent that. It reduces capillary fragility, which is basically the same thing. So you even could put this stuff around your nose right here. If you're finding like just with a little bit, it has the highest active oxygen content of 65 other plant species, which makes it an extremely powerful antioxidant. Oh, and then it has ectones in it. I forgot about the ectones. So ectones are a phenomenal ingredient. What they do is they help with it's a molecule that your body produces when it starts feeling that it's stressed out, basically. So it comes in to prevent stress damage to your cells. So when I say she really is loaded and does everything, she really is loaded and does everything. And now you ask if it's suitable for a 20-year-old. Well, I think it's kind of overboard for a 20-year-old. Like this is your 35-year-old, 45, 50, like people who are like, oh crap, my eyes are starting to look old. This is your best friend. This is your best friend. As a preventative, it would be amazing. Do I think it's a little overkill for somebody who's 20? Yeah. Somebody who's 20 is I would put him in my eye care, or I would put him in Cosmedix Eye Genius would be the two products that I would recommend for you at being 20. It's not that you can't use these more expensive products, but the thing is a lot of the ingredients in this, you can't improve perfection. You can't make, everyone's trying to have 20-year-old skin. So it will preserve it, but I don't know for how long. And you're not going to see the benefits from this because you don't have the signs of the aging yet. So that's kind of the bummer. For somebody who's 20 or 22 or 23, they may have a hard time seeing where their money is going with this product because you just don't have the aging that's happened so you can see the improvement. And you're so sweet. You just turned 20 today. Absolutely try my eye care oil. I think you'll love it. It really does help with puffiness. And Eye Genius is really phenomenal about the dark circles. If you're just looking for an eye cream that is going to help with dark circles and firming, it has 3 firming peptides. Eye Genius is the one you want. It's like $70. And my eye care, if you just use it for eyes, you get the bottle it's only $18, girlfriend. And the bottle it's a little 5 milliliter glass sample bottle. I don't have one at my desk right now, but she's cute. Oh, I bet I have one in here. Yeah, it's a bottle like this for $18. And honestly, I feel that my eye care oil works just as good as the $95 OptiCrystal that Cosmedix makes. I love OptiCrystal, love it. But my eye care is good shit. It really is. All right. And happy birthday to you, Sansa. Thank you so much for listening to me ramble. I'll be here next Thursday at 1 o'clock. I hope you all have a lovely day. Message me if you have questions. Mwah.